What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Big Football Guys. Today, I'm joined by my two co-hosts. We've got Tony, who you guys know, and now we have Evan on here as well. Evan, if you want to just introduce yourself a little bit, tell us a little bit about yourself.
What's going on, everyone? I am so excited to be here. This is, in my opinion, kind of been a long time in the making. Just from I've told the story to these two guys, Devin and Tony, that I've been following their pages for really as long as I can remember, from when I was in like middle school to just recently graduating college. And this is kind of the career path I wanted to go down, going into media and things like that. So my passion of media and sports equipment, specifically football equipment, are kind of blending here, while I'm also being a little starstruck by these two football equipment legends that I get to call my partners at the moment. So it's a really cool experience, and I'm really excited to be here. So I appreciate you guys big time for having me on.
Absolutely, man. We're more than happy to have you on here. Really excited to see what we can do with this podcast. And then we've got Tony on here. You guys know Tony already. He's all over the place. Today we're going to talk about some fun stuff. So we're going to talk about some
I got one
uniforms.
thing first.
What's
I just
up?
got one question. Actually, I got two questions just because I got two things. Number one, so you guys didn't do anything for Halloween, hey?
Today is Halloween, so I'm doing this. Football.
I got a sweet Michael Myers shirt on, but unfortunately, I handed out candy for a little bit with my girlfriend
Are you
and her
Relish?
sister.
I'm Relish.
That's crazy.
My dog's a hot dog, so that made me Relish.
Okay,
Wow.
see,
I mean, I guess that makes sense.
out of context, just out of context, I wouldn't get it.
You spend the money on the dog costume because that's what my wife does, and then the people get the low budget Walmart shirts with a safety pin thing on it, and that's the dog is the center point. She's a hot dog.
It's not even like a Heinz shirt. It's like paper pinned onto a green shirt.
No, of course it's not a Heinz shirt.
I thought you owned a Heinz shirt, and I was a little bit concerned for you.
I also thought you owned a Heinz shirt.
It's well done. Like, I couldn't even tell. It's well done.
Tomorrow this label comes off, and this is just a nice bright green shirt that I can wear.
I was gonna say that's a nice shade of like Footballrs green you got on there.
A little too pukey, but it's close.
Is that your St. Patrick's Day shirt too?
Green peas.
It's a multi-purpose shirt. You can wear it for Halloween, St. Patrick's Day, whatever you need.
Other quick question. So, Evan, you said you've been like obviously following what we're doing for a long time and starstruck and all that, yada yada. So, how much hair did you have, or how much hair did I have when you started watching us?
That's a good question. I'm sorry that I don't have an answer that you're looking for, because to be honest, I don't remember. I think I was too focused on the face masks and the helmets that you were customizing back in the day on Lineman Football. But if you want, I could go back and pinpoint the exact video, and I could tell you afterwards.
Yeah, it's crazy. We were actually looking at some of my old videos for some inspiration for some new stuff, and I was like, man, I never used to wear a hat in my videos. And like, I've worn more hats as I've gotten older. They're just comfortable. But I was like, holy man, like I thought I was losing my hair when I was in high school. And I was looking, I was like, oh, I took it for granted. Like now it's going, and it's going fast. But
you gotta take advantage of it. Take advantage of it. While you got it, do some cool stuff, you know. Get like a Patrick Mahomes mohawk while you still can. Just see what it looks like.
There you go. That'd be kind of fire. You should do a whole video on hairstyles and like demonstrate them on yourself.
Actually, when I used to play, my friends used to make fun of me. Looking back, obviously it makes sense now, but I would do hair designs. Like I would put, like I played for the Colts, so I'd have like a horseshoe in the side of my head, and I'd have like a number 58 in the back of my head, and I did all that stuff in junior high.
That's dedication to the sport. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I don't have enough guts
Looking
to do that.
back, I wish my dad didn't let me, but it's okay.
Yeah, you can't win them all.
Yeah.
All right, so today we're going to talk about a couple different uniforms. You guys saw some throwback uniforms, some alternate uniforms this weekend. We're going to talk a little bit about a cleat that is leaked. You guys will be excited to hear about that. I have a release date for a very highly anticipated pair of football cleats. And then lastly, we're going to talk about Jalen Ramsey. I mean, Jalen Ramsey is doing so much stuff. He deserves his own segment. And then lastly, eventually we'll get to cleat heat, which you guys love and I love. First thing we're going to talk about is the Seahawks uniform. So the Seahawks went with some very nice throwback uniforms that I think a lot of people, including Seahawks fans, have been waiting for a while. And these were very nice. What do you guys think?
Yes, sir. I can confirm. the Seahawks fans have been waiting for this one for a while.
I mean, Evan's the Seahawks guy. I'll let him lead off.
Hey, Frank Clark.
There he is. So as a Seahawks fan, we have been waiting for these for a long time. It wasn't until, the NFL changed the rule where you could get two helmets. They allowed teams to have an alternate helmet, was when this kind of came to fruition. But I remember back in the days when Wilson was, tearing it up as an MVP candidate through weeks 1 through 5 every single year back like 4 years ago. That was we would see a lot of leaked pictures, not leaked pictures, but just edits of what it would look like if our players currently were wearing these throwbacks. And it was one of those things where it was like, it's probably not going to happen, but if it did, it would be sweet. And then Bobby always tosses around the idea of all black uniforms, but no one really got behind that. What everyone did get behind was the throwbacks, and I just think they looked awesome. The silver helmets, I don't know, something about it. I wasn't alive in the 90s, so I didn't get to experience these jerseys whenever they were there before. But the pictures, you see all the Seattle legends like Jim Zorn, Steve Largent, all those guys rocking them, and it was awesome. It was really, really cool to see, and we're 1-0 in them, so I take a lot of pride in that.
There you go. I love how these look, man. You said it. The silver helmets are excellent. They match with those silver gray pants. And then I really, my favorite part I think about the uniform is the Seahawk like on the shoulder.
Yeah,
it just looks so cool. And then it's a nice shade of blue. It's just a really nice look. I wish Gino would stop wearing just black and like use some of the team colors in there sometimes. I mean, he does sometimes, but overall, I'm a huge fan of these uniforms for sure.
To be honest, my favorite part of these uniforms is the sideline gear.
Yeah, that's cool. It's got a nice retro feel to it.
This hoodie is obviously sweet.
Yeah.
Like, that is like such a sick throwback hoodie if you could get your hands on. Like, yeah, the uniforms definitely are dope. I do like the green, how it's not their Volt. Or would you consider it Volt because it's a Nike uniform?
It's like this.
I mean, yeah.
Or action
it's like
green,
this,
or what's
this
their
pine?
What's their
well,
green called?
They call it action green, is what they call it.
Yeah.
Action green.
Yeah.
And I think the action green is an homage to what Nike was back in the 2012s through 2014s, when basically everything that they released was either in a Volt colorway or like a bright pink or orange, just a neon colorway. And that was, the current Seahawks jerseys came out around in 2012 when Nike took over. So I think that had a lot to do with it. I don't know that for sure. That's just always what I've thought. But yeah, now that these throwbacks go back to this kind of almost Kelly green, kind of this pine green colorway right here, and it looks awesome.
That's nice. You also see that's a good shot of the that new jersey template as well. That's the Nike Vapor Fuse, I believe is the name.
Yep.
Jamal Adams and DK were one of the first guys to test those a couple years back, and now most of the teams have those. So just a small segment.
It's so funny that you bring that up, because it was, I think when I first saw it, it was Jamal Adams and it was DK Metcalf. They were wearing them against the Eagles, and I noticed it. I don't remember if it was the playoff game that they had that year against the Eagles or the regular season game, but I did notice it, and no one else knew what I was talking about whenever I'd bring it up. Everyone thought I was just I don't know. No one pays attention,
Yeah. I wonder if you were one of the guys that sent me, pictures of them in it and were like asking, like, is this a New Jersey template? I wonder if you were one of them.
I probably was. I probably was, to be honest. Because anytime I saw something, I would shoot it out to you to see if you knew, and you were usually on it.
Yeah, I try to be, but it always helps when people send stuff, because obviously I can't see everything and I don't know everything, so it's always fun. But yeah, cool uniforms. Big fan of these.
Wild.
I hope they bring them back. Wear them more throughout the season or in the future.
They are going to wear them Thursday night against Dallas whenever they play. I think it's either late November or early December.
Oh, sweet. That'll be cool. That'll be a good uniform matchup. A lot of silver, a lot of blue.
And so what are the rules on the alternates again? So to use your alternate helmet, you can only use it twice per year, which means you can only see these maximum twice per year.
I have no idea.
Am I right on that?
I think so. I'm not 100% sure, but I think you are right about that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're only allowed to break out that like your special, like you can special helmet shell. So you could, if you have your base shell is black, you could wear black, throw different logos on it every week if you really wanted to. But if you want to break out your different helmet shell color, which most teams are doing to incorporate their throwbacks or whatever their alternate is, like the Indiana Knights, and these ones, you can only do that different shell twice.
Right. And that was what was holding Seattle back from getting these, was not having that alternate shell color. And that's same with a lot of these throwbacks that we are seeing right now, was that alternate shell color that now is allowing all these teams to step in and put out these jerseys and just make millions and millions more dollars on sales and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if you were like the Browns or the Steelers, you're good for ever. You could do all the throwbacks you want if you just have a black or orange helmet, and like it really doesn't matter. You didn't need this rule to do any fun stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point. But the next team we're going to talk about did wear an alternate helmet. So this is a helmet they've never worn before, and that's going to be the Detroit Lions. What do you guys think on these? We got to pull up some pictures real quick. They're pretty wild. Honestly, I'm not sure if I was a fan of how this specific uniform combo looked. The helmets are cool. I think I can't remember the story fully, but I think they're inspired by the Ford Mustang car.
Yep.
You can kind of see the resemblance of the logo on the side of the helmet. It's a nice shade of blue. I just wish they didn't pair them with the all gray uniforms. I feel like it doesn't really do those helmets justice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so Battle would be definitely a better guy to talk to about some of this stuff. But yeah, so it's the use of the original Ford Mustang, and obviously Detroit being, where
Motor City,
heart of automobiles at that time, and where the Mustangs were being manufactured. So that's where they incorporate it. The blue shell, I'm not gonna lie. So when I went to Vegas last week, the Detroit helmet was the closest I came to buying a helmet.
Really?
Yeah, it was like I looked at all the alternates. And I was like, okay, the Kelly Green is sweet. The Titans is sweet. The Browns is pretty sweet. But the one that I picked up, and I was like, it feels weird to walk away from here with a Lions helmet, so I didn't do it. But I was like, this is the one of all of them that I actually just wanted as just a fan of football, which I know is probably not a very popular opinion, but it's just different.
What did you notice about it that made you, like it so much more than some of the others you mentioned? Is it the color? Is it like a flake in the paint? Or like, I haven't really seen them up close to like know much of the details on these.
I mean, it's like, number one, it's always going to be when someone does it's not a matte finish. What would you consider this finish? It's like a
satin, right?
Yeah, the satin. So it's the same that the Vikings do. And like when the Vikings switched to their like satin purple, like it popped. It'd probably be that because it's just the way the light hits it is just different, and that's probably the reason. And it's my dad had a Mustang when I was growing up, and so like a 65 Mustang is still my dad's favorite car, and so like I kind of get that
Classic.
side of it. He's a Cowboys fan, but it's just different. It just it wasn't about being like a Colts fan, or just more just like a fan of cool helmets. Not even an NFL fan. It was just, this is a cool looking helmet.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. What do you think about, or what do you guys think about them pairing it with the all gray uniforms?
I like it because it makes it stand out. Whereas if they were to wear it with the all blues, then we would kind of be back to just that color rush scheme, and it would be there, but it would kind of get lost in the fact that you'd be seeing all monochrome on the team. It would be blue head to toe. So it breaks it up. You've got that pop of blue from the helmet, and then right there on the shoulders, it's almost like the jerseys have that same Detroit blue that matches the helmet. It just doesn't have that little bit of sheen to it that the satin finish does. So I think it works, but I do see what you mean that, it's fitting, but it's almost not. And I would agree with you there. But I personally liked it. It's not what I was expecting them to wear the first time. I was expecting them to go all blue.
Yeah, I definitely want to see him in all blue, or even just like a white jersey with blue pants.
Yeah,
I feel like white would be a really nice contrast to the blue. I feel like it would be more successful as far as like color theory goes than
it would look so good with
gray.
all white.
Yeah, hopefully you said teams can wear this twice a year, so hopefully they bring it out with a different uniform combo than the gray. Just because, I just want to see a different look personally. But Yeah, the helmets are pretty cool. I like the lion that's like going through the logo. It's different. It's cool.
Yeah,
I
and
got
like I think like with I don't love the gray on gray. I think that's where I struggle with this. Because I like even so say for example, I I see this and I struggle. I see Raymond here and this little bit of blue undershirt like actually helps kind of bring it together
Yeah.
because there's no blue in the pants. So I would like to see even the gray jersey still, but paired up with like a blue pant maybe. And like that's where everyone has different opinions, right? Some people think that the helmet stands out too much and it doesn't feel like it's a part of this uniform but an add-on, whereas like Evan thinks that it's like the helmet should stand out and have little pops but not as much, where I personally would maybe like to see it with like a blue pant, even like a white jersey and a blue pant and the blue helmet. I don't know, there's a lot of different
Yeah.
ways you can go with it.
That'd be nice. I mean, it also doesn't help. I mean, this is just me nitpicking, but it doesn't help that a lot of these guys wear black accessories. I love all black accessories, but it really kind of fights with this uniform, especially, Jahmyr Gibbs. Like he wears, he's got the
Yep.
black undershirt, the black gloves, black arm sleeve. That like clashed a lot. But it made him stand out individually. But it just wasn't much of a uniform look. That's a sick picture. I wish I used that for my best looks. Damn.
there is no black on the Lions uniforms, is there? Not anymore. Not since they switched to these ones.
Yeah, I don't see any in this, but yeah, I don't know. That picture
I
is so sick.
remember
Yeah.
the original renders that they released for these. There was kind of like a little thing was when they originally came out with this design. I remember the face mask had a metallic to it. It was something like that. There was some little drama around the face mask with the renders and stuff they used showed with like a metallic silver face mask. And then this is just like a flat gray face mask. It was like two things, like they were posting two things, and I think Battle noticed it or someone, and it just didn't line up. Like the images of the face mask you're using do not line up with what you're actually going to be wearing.
Mm-hmm.
I actually quite like the gray though. The flat
That's a
gray
nice look
over
there with
metallic.
the blue gloves. The blue gloves, the blue undershirt. It's a nice contrast. I think
Yeah,
that's
it's like
the
this
key
work.
to it. Is like
Yeah.
using blue in other places to like connect the helmet to the rest of the uniform. I think that's the key.
Yeah.
Nice. The next ones we're going to talk about are, I believe these are fan favorite. I could be wrong, but that's going to be the Dolphins throwbacks. I think they've had these. They've worn them in the past. I don't think this is new because of the one helmet rule being lifted. So they've worn these before, but I think they're still cool enough to talk about because they're pretty good uniforms, and we're already talking about throwbacks. So, and there's a good look at it. There's our guy, Jalen Ramsey, who we're going to do like a deep dive into later on. But those are the throwbacks. I like them. I think they look good. They're clean. They're simple. They have a good old school vibe to them. What are your guys' thoughts?
I just keep looking at the hoodies.
You and the off the field stuff. That's so funny.
Yeah, well, it's sick.
Oh, they got Polaroids. Wow, fancy.
That
I like
aqua
that.
blue is hard to beat. That
Yeah.
old fashioned aqua
Yeah.
blue. That's so 80s that it works.
Yeah. Also using that gray face mask really gives it a retro feel.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, I feel like every face mask was gray.
Those big, thick gray face masks with the single bars across the face.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or the
I
one
actually
straight
really
down
like
the middle.
the stripes.
Yeah, I mean, Jalen's a great example of the stripes because he, for whatever reason, I don't know how I feel about this, but he keeps his sleeves long.
Yeah.
So you can actually see the stripes on full display like they did back in whenever they wore this, the 80s. A lot of the other guys that we're gonna see, they're all scrunched up because football's changed.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill's are loose too, huh?
I was gonna say that
Tyreek
guy right
likes
there
blue
does the
jersey.
same thing.
Yeah. Tyreek and Jalen, they just do things differently. But all those guys there, you can tell
Yeah.
the sleeves are nice and tight. Braxton Berrios. Tua? What's Tua doing?
He does the tight look.
Yeah.
A little
I
more
mean, you can still
scrunched,
see
yeah.
the stripes pretty well, actually. I love
I was
this.
actually
I
so when
love
I was
all white.
referencing the stripes, I was actually referencing the helmet stripes. And I
Oh.
like that they were separated because like modern that would be orange with the teal or whatever you'd call that, teal blue, like right next to it.
Aqua.
But I like that it's orange, white, teal, white. Like I like the separation and the width.
Yeah. It's also like reverse of what's on the sleeves because on the sleeves, the aqua's in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of interesting. But I mean, I love an all white uniform, and these are some of the best because that aqua is amazing. The orange is a great contrast to that, and just head to toe, great uniform.
Yeah, these are
Definitely
so
one of the
clean.
best. Yeah, they're just clean. Yeah, it's as simple as that. It's a clean look. You know, you put
Yeah.
that on, it's clean. There's your hoodie, Mike McDaniel.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how
Let's
much
get
me and
another look
Mike
at
have in
Mike
common,
McDaniel in
but
the hoodie there for Tony.
yeah.
That's gonna be a
Yeah,
thing
these
moving
are
forward. The off the field stuff strictly.
even the little socks, even the little details here, you know, the old school socks.
Yeah, those look real old school. He's got them pulled all the way up, dude.
Well,
His
yeah,
toe
because
is
you know
gonna
that they
poke out
give
the
these out
front.
to like every player gets these socks, and like no one is going to wear these socks except like
Mhm.
maybe the linemen that really don't care and will just put
Yeah.
socks on.
They just pull them on, dude. They're not
Yeah.
thinking about it. The
No.
Jason Kelce's of the world, you know, the flip flops for the game.
Yeah.
The socks just pull them up for the game.
You know what is funny
But,
though? If you look at these socks, look at with a tight end here. See this
Yeah.
and see the amount of width that's within these socks and how they're supposed to be.
Mhm.
Look how much on his calves, how much of that width gets stretched out into this thin material just to fit around.
Yeah.
Probably their biggest size too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Double XL socks.
Yeah, you know it.
Tree trunks for legs.
Yeah. Oh, linemen are a different breed. Look at this. A great example of more sock stuff. Jalen Waddle. Wow, they have two Jalen's. Never noticed that. Jalen Waddle,
three.
he's got like two pairs of the sleeves on, the leg sleeves.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got like two sets of stripes going on. Oh, those orange cleats are also very nice.
Okay, so
Yeah.
real quick, how much this is like an anomaly to me. Are those sleeves or socks, or are they both?
Oh.
Because in the NFL, I can never tell. And people, because sometimes every now and then you look at someone, you look at their legs, and you see that they're wearing compression pants, and then they're wearing like a quarter sock over it, or it looks like they're wearing compression pants, and it's like a knit material like socks, and I can never tell what it is, but it goes all the way up their leg.
Devin, I got this one.
I was just going to say, Tony just did a piece on this, so I'll let him take it.
Okay. So basically how this works in the NFL is they're given socks, right? They're Nike socks, whatever their deal is. They're giving everyone those Nike socks that will be branded. But not a lot of people actually wear those socks. So the way it actually works is a lot of the guys, they wear the most common brand right now is by Drymax. And so Drymax is like really well known for their technologies as far as like their wicking technologies and like keeping your feet dry, and their antimicrobial, and it's like very high quality stuff. Drymax also makes the chin saver covers. It's called the chin saver, and it's like the most popular chin strap cover in the NFL as well. So it's like Jalen Ramsey, Justin Herbert. The list is massive, and all the guys wear it. I actually have one here somewhere, but you'll know it because the chin strap cover actually has, like, they call it Cupatron. It's like a copper liner on the inside, which is part of like the antimicrobial and the wicking and stuff. So the inside of the chin, you'll always notice it. It's completely orange. It's like a copper orange. And you'll see a little bit of it always folding over. It's not made to, but it'll turn a little.
That's the same one Hurts got, right? Yep. Okay. I've always wondered about that. See, it all connects.
Always.
It all
You'll always see a little look on the top of the lip or the bottom of it. You'll see a little bit of that copper orange sticking out, and that's how you know.
Yep.
And so Drymax also makes a lot of the socks. So what these guys do is, and the reason I know about this a lot is because we have an upcoming video talking about a lot of this like kind of stuff and the stuff people do. So normally what guys do is they will wear a Drymax, a quarter crew sock or whatever they do, where they want like a crew sock similar length to like original like Nike Vapor Elite sock or whatever, like, midway up your calf. And then the NFL has a rule against legs being bare. So you can't just wear that Drymax sock on its own. That would be illegal to show half of your calf. So what they do is Drymax also for the NFL teams, they manufacture those same socks in the same styles they want with what they call a cheater sleeve. And then they'll put that cheater sleeve over top. And it's like, I don't remember if it's a different material or if it's the same, but they want the Drymax sock as their base sock. And then they just put this cheater sleeve over top of it. And then that will be like the team's logos if they want. So it's like Travis Kelce wears a Drymax crew sock as his base. And then he likes to do the Chiefs colorways for his cheater sleeve, which is the red and yellow stripes. Whereas other guys will just do like a white Drymax sock, and then they'll do like a white cheater sleeve. or like Tyreek Hill will do. We actually don't know what sock he wears, but just to get around the NFL's rule, he normally wears like a compression sleeve around his calves. And if the compression sleeve like crumples up and it's like 3 inches thick on his calf, the NFL won't fine him because like the sock is what's kind of like failing. So like at the beginning of the game, it'll be like really, cover your calf. The sock gets really scrunched up and it's like, oh, it's not his fault. Like the sock is just, moving up and down. We won't fine him. But then a couple weeks ago, he didn't wear that sleeve, just tried to go bare legs. NFL fined him like $7,000 or whatever, right?
Yep.
And so, yeah. So I guess the answer is you can wear like the Nike sock or whatever their team branded sock is, like those O-linemen would wear. But at the same time, they're probably also getting those same socks and the same designs made as cheater sleeves and allowing the guys to wear like their Dry Max socks as well.
See, that is so in depth, and that is something that I've always wondered, and I'm sure countless other people wonder too, because I don't know, like I said, we pay attention to these things. So
Yep.
that's some good info right there. And I'd always wondered you brought up Kelsey, and I was wondering about that too, because like Mahomes, it looks like he wears, to me, it looks like they're compression pants the way he wears them.
Yep.
Because he has that 3 stripes, the Kansas City stripes kind of down towards his shin, down towards his ankle. And I always wondered, like, how does Nike make those? Or but there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, even something as simple as socks, man. There's a lot of stuff that goes into this stuff, man. That's why equipment is so fun. That's why we do this. So now we've got to roll it back to one I almost skipped, the Titans uniforms. So let's pull those up really quick. These are really cool. There's a little bit of controversy kind of surrounding these uniforms, which is interesting. Tony, you know more about this stuff than I do, so take it away.
Yeah, so there's kind of like this uniform lives in like a limbo state. So the Tennessee Titans were formerly the Houston Oilers. Then after they moved to Tennessee, then Houston got their own team eventually, the Houston Texans. And so that's part of like, so if you watch Pat McAfee, JJ Watt goes on every Wednesday, and he said, he was voting or expressing last week that like Houston should own the rights to the Houston Oilers uniforms because they're the Houston football team and that's like their culture or their past. But Tennessee technically is the one that wears it because that franchise was originally the Houston Oilers and then moved. So it's kind of weird that like the Tennessee Titans are wearing a uniform of the Houston team. And then on top of that, another layer is the fact that the Houston Cougars, which the University of Houston, also decided earlier this year. Let's see, let's go to my post about it. So I posted today that the Houston University of Houston Cougars, they decided to start this year. They wore a very similar concept to the Houston Oilers, and that's going to be that it's a baby blue uniform with white numbers, red outline, with the stripes, and it says Houston on the front. And the only difference between this and the Oilers would be, let's see, face mask color. Is it the same? Yeah. So stripe, red face mask. Very, very similar between the two. The difference would be that they have Houston on the side within their font. So that's the difference. But the NFL kind of took it on themselves to basically send the University of Houston a cease and desist letter a couple weeks ago saying you can't wear these jerseys anymore and you have to basically halt the sales of all merchandise and anything that uses this. And that's basically like infringing on our trademark of the Houston Oilers. I don't know how you could do this because at the end of the day, it's a uniform with stripes and colors. And I bet if they really looked, there's probably a lot of teams with similar colors and stuff around the country. The only thing that they have to stand on is that it's also Houston as the starter to that. So, yeah, who knows? Maybe the NFL's hoping that they're big, bad, and scary enough that they can send a cease and desist and they'll stop doing it and they don't have to worry about it. Or Houston could say, yeah, you don't own the rights to colors. Like, you want to go to court? Let's go to court.
Yeah, that's tricky though. It's kind of crazy, dude. The NFL, dude, it's crazy the things they do,
I kind of agree with Houston, to be honest, because my buddy pointed this out to me yesterday. We were talking about it. It would be like if the Oklahoma Thunder were to release Seattle Supersonics throwback jerseys and wear them in Oklahoma. That's what it would be like. So I see where they're coming from, but like you said, in order to just cease it and stop all sales of the merchandise, well, I'll tell you what, if you were at that game yesterday or on Sunday and you got an Oilers jersey, if you will, from the stadium, you're sitting on some cash right now if that does go through.
Yeah.
The thing's gonna be worth some money.
It's obviously like there's no getting around it. They used the likeness, and it's Houston, so like, but it's like, can you really come after them for using the likeness of a color palette?
No.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it seems to be a little bit extreme, if you ask me. Just let them have fun. Let them wear the uniforms. What's the big deal? You know, it's just a uniform.
Let's find the law somewhere that says you cannot copy color palettes for football uniforms. Good luck with that.
Yes, we need somebody to start digging on that. But the uniforms themselves, I love them. I think these are excellent uniforms. I think they look really nice. This one is nicely broken up. You got the white helmet, the blue jersey, the white pants, teal socks, and then the use of red accessories. That was the finishing touch for me. These things looked incredible. Huge fan of these. What do you guys think?
I think they look great. The red is awesome. That kind of baby powder teal blue. It looks great.
Yeah, dude, I really think the red sets it off, especially Jeffrey Simmons here. Derrick Henry had some really cool PEs for this. He had, I don't know if I can remember. He had some gloves. I think they were teal and red. Whatever they were, they matched perfectly with the uniforms, and they killed these. They did a really nice job on these. Will Levis had a big day. I don't think anybody saw that coming.
Nope.
But these might be, that's a good shot of all. Just look at all the red. I love the red. I love when guys can take like the most, like the least used color and then like implement it into their accessories. I love that. Like when I see Cardinals players wearing like yellow cleats and gloves, can't get enough of it. And this is just a great example of that. He's got a next trend mouth guard. Shout out next trend.
We got a next trend in the NFL.
They've been popping up quite a bit.
Yep.
Which is a whole nother conversation because that is the next trend logo and it's on the NFL field. So how is that allowed? But that's another
actually
story.
I didn't think of that. That's a good point.
Just quickly going off of that, if you look at some pictures of Tyreek Hill, they have the Grip Boost logo on his gloves in gray against white, and you can like clearly see it, but you have to be really up close. Going back to Derrick Henry, those gloves are absolutely incredible PEs. Those look so cool because they're the teal, the white, and then they've got the red kind of mesh wishbone, I call it, and then he's got the two red padded arm sleeves and the red cleats. The red and the blue and it's excellent. I really, really like these uniforms.
There's two things I'm realizing I really like about the throwbacks. Number one is going to be the fields. Where the hell is that photo?
Yeah. That's such an underrated part of it.
I'm loving when teams are taking the time to redo their fields, like with this font here.
Yeah, that's sick.
Same thing like when the Eagles redid it for the Kelly Green, and like I think that's honestly part of my favorite part is like the actual conversion of the stadium and not just the uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to see a coach. I'm looking for a coach and some sideline gear,
Where's
but I can't find one.
Here? We need it. If you go to pre-game photos, if you can find that, you might find some more.
Let's see. Yeah, let me check that quick.
I'm an NFL photos wizard. I check all of them.
You can tell that the organizations are definitely going in on the fact that this is the year of the throwbacks because, like you said, they are going all out at the stadiums. You know, they're converting. You can see the color palette on the stadium itself is actually different there. They've got that powder blue up in the stands. The fields are painted. They've changed the siding on the walls, everything. And there's your coach gear.
Yeah. There's a nice picture of like a starter jacket on the left there. You want to check that out, Tony?
Where is it? Oh, that's
up
nice.
Top left. There you go.
That's good hair too.
Hey, it's the Mahomes.
Evan and I. What's up?
I was gonna say it's that kind of Mahomes mohawk I told you to go for.
There you go, Tony. Now you know what you got to do. But yeah, Evan and I will focus on the uniforms and the equipment. You just focus on the sideline gear.
Yep.
All right, but that is going to wrap it up for the uniforms. So that's 4 of some of the coolest uniforms we've seen in a while, all in 1 week. So that was fun to talk about. Next, we're going to talk about is something I don't know if I should be talking about, but I'm going to because if you guys are listening to this, I appreciate you, and this is fun information. So, somebody actually sent this to me. Somebody in Oregon was wearing a cleat I had never seen before. So let's pull up that photo really quick. It's not a high quality photo, but it's all I could find. I can't remember the name of the player. I think his name is Bucky or something. I don't follow college football too much,
Oh,
unfortunately. I'm
oh,
so deep. Evan might.
oh, I know his name. I want to say it's Bucky Irving, I think.
That sounds right because I tried to find more pictures of him. I think it's something like that. I know his first name is Bucky because I don't know if I've ever heard anybody with that first name before.
Yes, can confirm it is Bucky Irving. His real name is Marquise Irving, but they call him Bucky Irving.
All right, yeah. So this is Bucky. Check out the cleats. All right, guys. What do those look like to you guys? Do you guys have a thought on what these might look like?
To me, those look like the original Untouchables.
Exactly. Bingo.
Vapor
So
Untouchables.
these look like the OG Nike Vapor Untouchables, one of the greatest cleats ever made. You can just tell from that front where it's kind of glossy, kind of the shape of the toe box there. And then if you look at that left cleat, you'll notice that it has that that heel cup of the edge plate. So with this information, this leads me to believe that Nike is kind of doing what they did with the Vapor or the Vapor Carbon, the Vapor, they named them so long, the Vapor Edge 360 VCs. Basically, they're taking an old cleat that everybody loves and they're remaking it with the updated edge traction plate. And I think that's exactly what we see here. So I think they're bringing back the OG Untouchables with the edge plate, which for me, kind of a bummer because the main reason a lot of people like these old Nike football cleats was the Vapor Carbon traction plate because it's so springy, it's so snappy, just one of the best traction plates of all time. So you get the look, of the old Vapor Untouchable, but you're still going to get the edge traction plate, not the OG Vapor Carbon plate. So what do you guys think about Nike kind of, coming out with these? I assume they will, and just like kind of reusing some of their most iconic models for future releases.
Do something new. Like it's and I went on a rant about this in a TikTok, and like I took some hate forks. They're like, why would they not do that? It's like we want this like old school stuff. I'm like, I would be okay if it's like, oh, we are releasing this new stuff right now, and then at the same time we're doing this throwback thing, this really cool thing. And it's like, oh, sweet. But it's like when we haven't had a new cleat for, okay, I guess we actually did get the Vapor Untouchable, or sorry, the Vapor Edge 2s this year, the updated
after
version.
3 years of the ones, yeah.
So I guess that's where I'm kind of salty, where it's like, okay, we didn't have a new cleat for like 3 years, 4 years. And then it's like they're kind of just like spinning their wheels, and then they're like kind of conceding. They're like, okay, let's just take the old thing and put the new thing on it, and then like, okay, we'll buy ourselves a year. Let's kind of work on something new, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like same, even partially, and it's kind of all wrapped up in like Nike's whole strategy around like not being very football heavy, but more into like women's flag football is obviously growing, golf is growing, women's in general is growing for Nike, and so it's like less of a push for football. So even like we didn't get, even in the years past where we didn't get new cleats, we got new Vapor Jets, Vapor Jet 6, Vapor Jet 7, but then that's it. And it's like a lot of guys that we're still preferring the Vapor Jet 6 over the Vapor Jet 7, and this is the second year in a row of the Vapor Jet 7, and then we're hoping we get the Vapor Jet 8s next year. So it's like that's kind of where like I'm still stuck in where Nike used to be and how much money they used to be pumping into it, and I'm salty that it's not that way anymore. And it definitely makes me struggle to even appreciate the cool stuff they do now. Because like, yes, if they brought these cleats out and I got a pair, I'd be like, holy, these are so comfortable. These are great cleats. But also part of me is still a little salty where I'm like, okay, I'm pumped, but also like I do want something new at the same time. I don't know.
Yeah,
50-50.
I see where you're coming from. That makes sense. For me, like I see it similarly. I am really excited to see them bring back this stuff because this is like, I mean, this style of cleat was like so important in my development of enjoying football equipment. It was like the cleat, I still have a couple pairs down in the studio. I don't have them with me, but it is a good point that it's kind of like a cop out, taking their old stuff that was successful and just kind of redoing it instead of developing all new cleats. And we talked about a little bit. They're kind of slacking on their cleat releases in general. Like it took 3 years of the Vapor Edge 360 Pro 1s before they came out with the 2s. So it's clear that Nike's kind of backpedaling out of football and putting less and less into it every single year, which as equipment enthusiasts, I guess you could call us, it sucks to see. But
And a little
I don't know.
teaser. It's also not surprising that a Nike athlete is now not even wearing Nike cleats because they're seeing the same thing.
Oh yeah, Jalen. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for these cleats. I think it's really cool, but I mean, you made a good point. They're not really doing much. Evan, what do you think, man? I know you're pretty nostalgic towards these old Nike cleats too.
It really makes me wonder who they're marketing this towards, because like you said, it's a certain group of people like
Yeah.
you, people like me, people like Tony, who were playing, high school football at the time that these were coming out. I never got my hands on a pair of those, unfortunately, but they were definitely one of my favorite silhouettes, and one of my teammates had a pair and I loved them. I thought they were so cool. I've always wanted a pair, and it just makes you wonder, like, why are they bringing back these old cleats that only a certain subgroup of people are going to get the nostalgic factor of, whereas they could be releasing new cleats to this new age group of youth players, high school athletes, and things like that are coming up now. And that's kind of what I'm wondering, like, I just wonder what their thought process is, because people like you, people like me, we don't play football anymore. You can still play flag and things like that, but it's not going to be the same exact thing as getting those cleats and lacing them up for Friday Night Lights.
Yeah, that's honestly a really good point. I haven't even thought about that. Like you said, the people they're marketing this to have grown up. They don't play football anymore. Maybe some of them have kids, and that's their idea. Like, oh, these guys have kids now. They're going to want their kids to have them. But I mean, I don't think they'd be old enough. I don't have kids. You don't have kids.
That has to be it, right? It has to be a nostalgic thing, because why else would you?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, but that is, that's a big part of it. Is why else would you release an iconic silhouette in the football equipment world and then not, lean on the fact that yes, people are going to like this because they used to like it, back in 2014, 2015.
Yeah. It's
Maybe
definitely
it's
weird.
not.
What do you mean?
Maybe it's like a marketing engine where we are the ones shilling the product because we are the ones that are nostalgic about it. But in reality, the people they're marketing this to buy, which aren't us, well, technically it's us, but like we're not the mass of the people buying it in that age group of, say, 14 to 18, high school, whatever. They don't even know that the old Vapor Untouchables existed. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of these kids were 7 years old.
Yeah.
So maybe it's also part of the fact that they know we are going to market and shill this stuff for them because we're nostalgic about it. But in reality, it's just a good looking football cleat to these kids that didn't know that the 2014 era of Nike existed.
That's a really deep point I never thought of. So you're saying that Nike is targeting our nostalgia so that we promote their products for them. So they're using us, essentially, is what you're saying. Nike's using us.
Yeah, I'm saying they're using us as a
That's so
marketing
crazy.
tool, but then
like
in reality, the people that are going to be buying it it doesn't matter to them because like it just looks like a new football cleat to them that looks cool, which it did back then. But in reality, they're just using us as the marketing tool because we're nostalgic about it. But then when it actually gets in the buyer's hands, it doesn't matter that there is no nostalgia for them. They just see it as a cool looking football cleat with the newest traction plate.
Yeah. I mean, when you put it like that, it makes a lot of sense. You guys both made really good points. So just opened my eyes to some things I didn't even think about before.
You could either be a business major or a psychology major, and I wouldn't be able to tell which one's which, just based on your answer there.
Yeah, that was
as
really
their budget shrinks and shrinks, they're just going to get more and more creative.
Yeah, so instead of pushing
it's like
money
constraints on stuff always make better products.
Yeah, so instead of spending all this money developing a new product, just develop something that influencers and people that like this stuff will promote for you. I mean, that's genius, really. So yeah, that's what's likely coming. I probably should have told you guys that, but why not? Who cares? We'll see. So next we're going to talk about is another Nike football cleat, and this one is new, actually. Well, it was new last year, and that's going to be the Kyler Murray Nike Dunks. So we finally have a release date for these. You guys can see on Dick's website, they have kind of a release calendar, which Tony has pulled up here. And there is the official release. So it's going to be November 10th at 10 a.m. for $190, which is kind of a lot. That's pretty steep, for a pair of football cleats, in my opinion. But yeah, there they are. Pretty cool. What do you guys think? Too expensive?
So it comes with 3 packs of laces.
Oh, sick.
Worth
That
it.
makes it worth the extra $70. I changed my mind. They are perfectly priced. I mean,
just want to.
They're pretty cleats. I like them.
Yeah.
But like 190?
They're
Come on.
nice.
They're going to sell out quick too.
I mean, they're all gonna get bought up by like FB Cleat Heat anyways, and he's just gonna repost them for like 300.
There's so many cleat. I didn't think there'd be a day where there was cleat resellers. Like I understand like Jordan, like retro Jordans, and like some of the hype stuff, but football cleats, come on.
It's just annoying.
I mean, it's like
most
cool.
of the same people, I think, who are doing it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean,
anywhere there's like a potential for profit, they're gonna be, And as a football equipment fan, it's cool to see how far football equipment has come, but it is kind of annoying to see stuff like that.
So just I want to do the math just so you guys, everyone understands. Me being in Canada, then Devin and Evan being in the States. So if I want to buy these cleats, it's $190 US, no free shipping, which means by the way, they won't actually even ship to the US. So I own a PO box in the States so I can do stuff like this. So hypothetically, if I want these cleats, I'm going to pay $190 US, and then I'm going to ship them to my PO box, and then I'm going to pay another probably $100 from there to ship them across the border plus import fees to my home address. So now we're at probably 200 and let's say it's 60, 70 US. So now we're at 260 US. And then we're going to add 30% on top of that, which means we are at 20 plus 60, 80. So we are at 260 plus 80. We're at 340 Canadian dollars if I want these football cleats.
Jeez, dude. Yeah, dude. The guys up in Canada, they get kind of shafted, huh?
Yep.
With a lot of these, any type of football equipment, really. You guys.
Yeah,
don't
we
have
get
much.
nothing now.
Yeah,
it's awful.
That's too bad, man. We got to grow the game, right? That's the key. But yeah, either way, these are the K1 dunks. A lot of you guys have been asking me on Instagram nonstop. When are these releasing? November 10th, 10 a.m. I might even try and buy a pair myself for some cool videos. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if I remember on November 10th, which is in 10 days.
And so this release calendar, they'll only do for a month ahead. So it's October 31st, and it only goes up until November 27th.
Really? I think I talked to some guys with Nike, and they said the date was just released. I hit him, and I messaged him. I said, November 10th. He's like, how do you know that? I just got out of a meeting about that. I'm like, I'm on top of this stuff, man. Don't worry about it. It was pretty funny. But yeah, $190, Kyler Murray dunks. Oh, you know what I'm thinking? This is unrelated. I mean, it's kind of related, but Kyler Murray is like coming back. So it kind of like from a marketing standpoint makes a lot of sense for his cleats to release like as he comes back from his injury.
You think they're waiting for
he's
that?
going to be back on the 5th or the 12th?
That's what I'm wondering. Yeah, I'm wondering if that was part of it. I mean, another Kyler Murray cleat that's supposed to release that still hasn't is the Diamond Turf 96s. And I wonder if it's kind of the same story there. They're kind of waiting for him to come back and like wait for him to make a big play or like have a big game and then, pounce on that opportunity to promote his latest cleat.
Yeah.
The marketing minds are at work for sure with that one. Let's stop talking about Kyler Murray. Let's talk about one of our favorites on here, Jalen Ramsey. He's finally back from injury, and he's pretty much changed a lot of his gear from last year. A lot of new stuff on here. He posted on Instagram a couple photos, and we can kind of go through it and talk about all the different gear he's worn in one game so far. Pretty crazy. Yeah, what's the next photo there? I mean, that's a good photo, but I want to start with the helmet, I think. That works too. So Jalen Ramsey, first thing first, he switched to a Shut F7 football helmet, and there's an up-close picture if you keep sliding, I think. That'll work, but...
By the way, just a little bit of copper. See that little bit of copper right there?
Yes. Evan, take
That's
notes,
it.
man. That's
I'm on it.
that's Drymax. That's the Drymax chin saver.
Yep.
I mean, you'd be surprised how many people don't know that. I mean, I didn't know it, honestly.
Yeah.
It's a pretty common thing to just not know. Everyone just assumes all this stuff is done by Nike, but there's like small companies in the background that make a lot of stuff for the NFL, including Drymax. But yeah, Jalen Ramsey, he used to be in a Riddell Speedflex, and now he is in a Shut F7, which is new. And then his face mask. So he had this face mask. It's a custom face mask made for the Speedflex. And then he switched in the F7, and now he's got kind of a new version of it. I mean, Tony, you know all about these face masks, man. Let's see what you got.
Yeah, like, so I don't really know how he did this. And because like the NFL kind of put themselves in a little sticky situation with this one, like we talked about. So the old face mask was legal because it was became an offered custom style from Riddell, which meant it met this verification. But then like Max Crosby was made to get out of his because it wasn't part of that SEI verified. And so I was under the assumption that we would not see Jalen wear this custom style on his new Shut F7 because it would not be SEI verified. It would be a custom, again, because it's not being made by the manufacturer. It'd still be being made by BA Masks. And this one was made by BA Masks. So in the same way that like Max Crosby's probably was made by him, his original Jalen Ramsey one on his Speedflex was made by BA Masks. This one was as well. So I assumed that he actually would never be wearing this one on the field on game day because the NFL would not allow him because they're cracking down on non-SEI verified. But it became weird because it was like, how would you allow this on one face mask but not another? Sorry, on one helmet but not another, just based on this like stamp of approval, even though they're identical. And, you know, I guess they're happy Jalen's back and he's such a big, you know, brand for the NFL that I guess they're going to pick and choose. Like they'll, honestly, it's the NFL. They'll do what they want. They will pick and choose who to fight battles with.
Yeah, I mean, Jalen Ramsey's not a guy. I mean, he'll publicly go after you like he did with Adam Schefter.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a big. He talks a little bit. That mouth guard you see on his face mask, never once seen in his mouth. So
Nope.
that tells you
Never.
all you need to know.
Yep.
But yeah, as far as gear, F7 face mask. He's got some Nike Vapor Jet 7.0 PE gloves. That's another good shot of the helmet.
Yeah, where is it?
I believe they were black. Yeah, look at that. Those gloves are sweet.
Yep.
They're black, teal, and then they've got that orange as well.
Those are
Very
so
nice. Yeah, they're clean. I think Jalen Waddle probably has similar ones too because he's got his own Nike Vapor Jet 7.0 PEs.
Mm.
And then, I mean, the next thing we got to talk about with Jalen Ramsey is the cleats. We have a lot of exciting stuff coming about these cleats. We know, you know, a good amount of stuff about these. So this is the new JR1, which is kind of like a signature cleat. It's made by Factory Lab. We have a post specifically from the artist as well. And then, yeah, there he is. So these are the cleats up close. This guy, the guy who made these, actually just posted a reel kind of going through the cleat and all the details, like right before we started this podcast.
No, really cool.
Yeah. So he hand painted those stripes. This is like a Black Panther type of thing. And then that's the Jalen Ramsey logo, which does not belong to Nike. It belongs to Jalen Ramsey. This is the traction plate. It's, you know, it's kind of an interesting traction plate. I haven't really looked at it too much. It says Child of God on there, which is pretty cool. It's got his logo kind of in the forefoot.
Yeah.
And then he also wore a pair for a pregame as well. So if you go to this guy's page here, Jordan Diab, I think he just posted.
Follow.
There you go. Drop the follow. Shout out Jordan.
Yeah.
And all the way to the right, top right. Keep going up.
This one?
Nope.
No.
That's that. Those. So he wore these in pregame. I didn't even know this until he posted 2 hours ago. These are sick. So they took the cleat and made it like a mummy thing. These are really cool.
That traction plate to me looks like Slip City.
You think so?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just because when you look at the bottom of it, it has that, you can see the studs, but everything in between is just that really flat. It just looks flat plastic.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that
point.
contributes to slipping or not. But it just looks very, very rigid and flat. And I don't know. You'd have to see how the traction is on those because to me, it looks like you'd be all over the place wearing those.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, you know, more about these cleats. We're gonna bring you guys a lot of content about these cleats. But just a quick brief rundown about them. These are a cleat that Jalen Ramsey and Factory Lab kind of built exactly for him. They molded his foot. They got a perfect fit of his foot for this cleat, and he got to kind of pick a lot of the cool details on this thing. And there's going to be a lot of cool stuff coming from him and Factory Lab here in the future. And we're going to get our hands on some of the cleats as well. So we'll show you guys up close pretty soon, all the stuff that kind of went into these cleats, how they designed them, how they built them. It's really cool. And I'm really excited to share that stuff with you guys. Just really, really cool stuff, for equipment geeks like us.
Yeah. Most people don't know that like the majority of the league really don't care what they're wearing. Like if you ask them like, hey, what kind of helmet brand are you wearing and like what's your face mask? They would have no clue.
Yeah.
They just don't know this stuff and they just don't care. Right? They don't care about the safety. They don't care about, this or that. They just know that like when they were at, Oregon or Oklahoma or whatever their school, they wore this. And that's all they were allowed to wear. And that means they're probably going to wear that in the NFL because that's what they're comfortable with. And the only real test that has to pass everyone is the mirror test. And that's, does this look good in the mirror? They put it on. Yeah, it looks good. Cool. Like not many guys in the NFL actually care about the details and the stuff that the way like some of these guys do and the way they want to be involved, like Jalen.
Yeah. Yeah, no, a lot of guys they'll just take whatever.
What percentage of NFL players do you think could tell you what the model of gloves and cleats they wear are?
I mean, they have some pretty tricky model names, so probably not a lot.
Not a lot. 2%.
I didn't.
Just because the NFL is actually like so big, like depending on how you did the math.
Right.
I was thinking like 10%, but I mean, 2 might be more accurate. We should figure this out. We should talk to every single NFL player and ask them if they know the model name of their cleats and gloves. No, because most of them would just be like, yeah, Nike Vapors, and that's all they're gonna know.
Right.
Because that's like a lot of people. That's how a lot of people look at it. They're like, oh, Nike Vapors. They don't know like the Nike Vapor Jet 8.0, the Nike Vapor Edge 360 Pro. I mean, the names are kind of ridiculous to remember. Like, yeah, well, I mean,
that's
most people.
That's because we're nerds. We're nerds.
Yeah, we're weird.
Yeah.
If you guys are watching this podcast, you're probably also weird. So, welcome to the club. That'll bring us to our final segment and my absolute favorite. You guys know it. Cleat Heat Week 8. All right, so this week, there's a lot of Cleat Heat out there, per usual. We saw a lot of cool stuff, but this week, there was a lot of different artists, which is something I noticed as I was putting this list together. We saw a lot of variety. So this is the first one. This is Deontay Foreman. These were crazy. I had to make them the first one. So this is a pair of like Fear of God, if you guys are familiar with those shoes.
Yeah, I like
custom
those.
Football cleats. These are crazy. Deontay Foreman, dude, he kind of reminds me of Tyrod Taylor. He doesn't play much, but when he does, he's putting it on. Like he's going crazy with the drip. So yeah, I love these cleats. These are customs from Sean. You guys know Sean. I don't know how his last name is said. He's on Instagram. He's tagged. Yeah, Sean Tadon. I want to say Sean the Don, but like the E and the H are swapped. But
yeah, I think it honestly is Sean the Don. Like his last name isn't Tadon. Like it's Sean the Don.
Oh well, Sean did these cleats. Sean does a lot of custom like reconstruction similar to Coda Customs. But yeah, these are incredible. These look so good, perfectly flow with the Bears uniforms. 10 out of 10 football cleats for sure.
Are those?
Oh yeah, you guys.
Real quick, were those Adidas cleats?
Let me go back. Let me look at it.
No,
that's the Vapor Edge plate. I see that. I always look at the shank on the back. That's how you can tell really easily.
Yeah.
Oh, and the Nike logo on the side. That probably would have helped too.
I thought those were like some prime knit Adidas cleats in the silhouette of a Nike sneaker, and I was really confused.
That would be weird, but yeah, the way they reconstructed it doesn't even look like the original cleat anymore.
No, not at all.
Which is cool. So next one up here, we've got Quincy Williams of the New York Jets. He has been wearing insane cleats all season long. So this was cool. I was watching this game, probably the most boring game I've ever watched in my entire life. Holy dude, that was terrible. But he had some, I believe these are KD6 inspired cleats. Correct me if I'm wrong. Do you guys know? Are these KD6s?
You're the sneakerhead.
I won't go that far, but Kevin Durant, so he does his Aunt Pearl series, and I think these are based off the KD6.
They do look like the Aunt Pearls.
Yeah, they're definitely Aunt Pearl inspired. I forgot which artist customized these. I believe his name is Mike Jordan, not Michael Jordan. He's tagged. If you guys want to check him out, yeah, Mike Jordan art. You can see the confusion.
Yeah,
These cleats are sick.
They're inspired by the Aunt Pearl, the KD6 Aunt Pearls.
Okay, sweet. I nailed it. Let's go. All the sneakerheads that are watching this are so proud of me right now. But yeah, these cleats are sweet. I'm not really sure how they kind of fit in with the colors because I mean, pink is fine for the whole, because it's October. It's still October. But the blue doesn't really make a lot of sense. I don't know. If I'm playing like the Giants who are blue, I don't know if I would wear blue in my cleat. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. Cool cleats regardless, though. Next up, we talked about these a little bit already. Jalen Ramsey. These are the JR1s from Factory Lab. It's a good picture of the customs. Next up, we've got Cordarrelle Patterson. So these are pretty cool. Had to put these on here. They're like a little Patrick SpongeBob action. They're just so unique. They made me laugh as I found them, like going through the team photos. Like, oh, these are sick.
Well, if we're sticking with the basketball theme, then those are like the Kyrie. I believe those were the Kyrie 6s or the 5s.
Yeah, something like that. When I didn't follow Nike basketball at that point, man. I was more of a mid 2010s.
I think it was the 6s. I think it was the Kyrie 6 had a silhouette with the SpongeBob and Patrick theme.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. I mean, they looked great. I don't know if he can wear those. I feel like this whole month we saw just like guys wear colorful cleats, but I don't know if they're allowed to or if it falls under the October thing or what.
Yeah.
I don't know. So this is supposed to be Dak Prescott. We'll show him at the end, or we can show him now. It's up to you.
Show him at the end.
All right, cool. Next up, we got Adam Thielen. So I thought these were really cool. So it takes like a basic Jordan 1 low, and Mosh made these. Mosh customized these, so it's kind of like a sketch effect. I always think this is like a cool thing to see. You don't really see it unless you look closely at the cleat. But it's cool. It's clean. Goes really nicely with the uniforms. Nothing too flashy. Next up, we got Jalen Hurts. So he wore some really nice Jordan 1 PEs in just all green. And then there's some sort of texture kind of on the swoosh. I think it's like a salute to service pair almost. Now that I'm looking at it further, does that look like Digicamo to you guys on the that leather panel that kind of comes up?
It's tough. Swoosh. It looks like someone just used a sponge with a little bit of paint and just kind of dabbed it.
Yeah, I wonder if these are like a salute to service pair. When's salute to service pair? That's November, right?
November.
Yeah. I wonder if these are, I don't know. It's hard to tell. I don't know. Either way, I mean, they're really cool cleats. They're just basically all green Jordan 1 highs. So they're clean. Next up, this one was exciting. So Joe Burrow, you guys know Joe Burrow. He plays football. He, for the longest time, would just wear like Nike Alpha Menaces. And they weren't really exciting. He's such like a big face of the league. I was always kind of hoping like he'd put on something a little cooler. And then a couple weeks back, he switched into some Jordan 1s. They were black and white. And I'm like, oh, those are cool. And then I saw some comments. Somebody's like, dude, he has to wear shattered backboard Jordan 1s. It was just a perfect fit with the Bengals uniforms. And then arts_undefined on Instagram made these lovely cleats for him. So they're a Jordan 1 shattered backboard inspired cleat. And it's just so clean. It matches Joe Burrow perfectly. It's just like a clean look. Looks really nice. Perfect with the Bengals uniforms. Great choice from Mr. Joe Burr. Next up, we got Chuba Hubbard. I don't know how to say his name. Hubbard. So it's Chuba Hubbard. All right. Chuba Hubbard. So these, I don't really know what to call these. I just thought they were cool. They're from, I think the guy's name is the Shudio. Yeah, the Shudio. So it's got like a nice fade of like the blue to the white and then the reverse silver swoosh on there. I thought it was unique. Something a little bit different to throw on here. I liked it. Good colors. And then we've got Josh Jacobs. So he didn't wear these in-game. He only wore them for pregame. But these were wild. These were ridiculous cleats. So it's a Ghostbusters-inspired pair. But the details on these are insane. I don't know if you can zoom or not. Can you zoom on this?
No, it won't let me. Not anymore.
No big deal. But just, I mean, look at all the like exterior stuff kind of falling off of these, dude. They're so cool.
Crazy.
I forgot the artist's name. Luke Dangler, I think. Luke Dangler? Yeah, Luke Dangler. Wow, how did I remember that? Those are cool. And then we've got one more on my story, which is going to be Dak Prescott. So Instagram kind of glitched on me. Didn't let me post all the ones I had prepped and put in my drafts. Whatever. The last one on here is going to be Dak Prescott. So Dak Prescott pulled out a pair of Jordan 3s inspired by the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. And these were super clean. So they're kind of like all silver. And then on the heel tab, kind of where that the heel tab is, you can see like the Walter Payton Man of the Year logo, and it's really cool. Obviously, he won the award at some point. I don't know if it was last year or when he won it. But just kind of a cool way to showcase that he won that award. And then the Jordan 3s are really clean too. What do you guys think?
I'm disappointed that we didn't. I'm disappointed we didn't see more Halloween inspired cleats.
Yeah, when I was going through it, there was a couple. I'm trying to remember. Tutu Atwell had like a jack-o'-lantern pair. I'm trying to remember who else didn't make the cut. Let's see if I can quickly open up my list. So I go through and then I cut it down to 10. Let's see. Cleat Heat week 8. John Dotson was just in Jordan 1s. Rashad White was in Jordan 13s. Tutu Atwell. George Kittle had like a Day of the Dead pair. He wore them last year too. So that's why I didn't put him in, just because we'd already seen them.
I'm not calling out your list per se. I'm just saying, like, I feel like this week I didn't see really any Halloween themed stuff going on in the NFL.
Yeah. I mean, you're totally right. There wasn't a lot. There wasn't as much as we've seen in the past. We saw Stephon Diggs last week do the Freddy Krueger 360 speeds that he wore last year as well. Tutu Atwell, like I said, had those. We just saw Jalen Ramsey had a pair that I didn't discover until after I'd made that list, or those definitely would have been on it because those are really cool. Yeah, not as much as we've seen in the past. Maybe it's because Halloween falls on like a Tuesday, so they're not like. So it's like, do I wear it 2 days early or do I wear it 5 days late? It was probably just it fell on a weird day.
I think you take advantage of it. I mean, all the TV programs do. You know, they Sunday of, Monday of, before they go all out with all the themes and all the corny puns and stuff like that they do.
I love that stuff. But yeah, not too much, but we did see some cool cleats in general. Sure. I mean, it was also kind of like a weird mix of like the October breast cancer awareness cleats and then like Halloween.
Yeah.
I guess they're in the same month technically. I mean, they are. Yeah, I don't know. Either way, some solid cleat heat. Can't wait for week 9. We love cleat heat. Well, I do. I don't know about you guys, but
I look forward to it every week.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
It's cool to learn. It's crazy the amount of time you put into that every week.
Every week. Best looks, cleat heat. They take up my entire Tuesday.
I look forward to seeing which ones you put on your list or lists, I should say, that I saw myself and had my own thoughts about. You know, if I see like Jamal Adams wearing a pair of cleats or like, you know, like you said, Dak Prescott, I'm like, well, chances are I'm going to see that on Devin's list. So I try to compare which ones you've got on there versus the ones that I actually see because I don't get to see all of them.
Yeah, no, I try to do a good mix of like the popular guys that everyone's going to know and then some of the ones people don't see. A lot of the other pages, I don't want to call anybody out, but like it's something that bothers me is Complex Sneakers specifically. They post like their best cleats of the week, right? Before me. And I'm like, well, that's fine. But it's like they're just like not the coolest cleats that were on the field that week. And it irks me they don't put the time in to like find the cool stuff. You know, they'll post like a random player wearing like retail Jordan 1s in a retail colorway. And I'm like, come on, dude, put some effort in, find some cool cleats. But they get all the clicks because they're complex. But whatever. We put in the work over here, so
and what you do gives a shout out to the artists too, which is great.
I was just thinking about that earlier. They show no love to the artists, man. And you know, the artists, they put in the time, they put in the hours. They deserve some love, you know, to grow their own pages, grow their own business. But these big companies, like above doing research, above finding the artist, above finding cool cleats, they're lazy. They're lazy. But we do it right over here, all right? So, yeah. Small rant, but it had to be said.
Yeah.
We run this
game. Get it out.
Dude, it bothers me every week. I see their posts and like I want to comment. Sometimes I do comment. I'm like, dude, you guys are missing everything. But I try not to every time.
Swing and a miss.
Yeah. They miss so much. It bothers me. I'm like, dude, this guy is literally wearing the coolest cleats I've ever seen in my entire life, and it's not on your stupid little list. Either way, that's cleat heat.
It's got a lot bigger than I thought it would.
Oh, you have no idea. I have
Yeah.
so many things like this, because all these big companies, they just, they have the reach, they have more, but we're getting there.
Mhm.
We're doing it. We're
Yep.
killing it out here. But yeah, that's Cleat Heat. Hope you guys didn't mind that little rant. If you did, oh well, too bad.
I'm with you. I stand with you.
Yes, that's what we need. All right, but yeah, that's gonna do it for this week's episode of Big Football Guys. Huge shout out to Tony and Evan. This was a really fun episode. I feel like we're starting to get the hang of this, which is really fun. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it too. If you do, like this video, comment what you guys want to see us talk about in the future. Whatever ideas you guys have, we check it out. So feel free and definitely subscribe for more podcasts, more videos just like this. We really enjoy making it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out.
Peace.